everyone, how are you doing? I hope you are doing great wherever you are in the world today. Hope you're having a fantastic day. This is Petal and this is Facts and Two Cents podcast. So welcome. As you know, this is a podcast that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, Harry, Big Boy Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Queen Doria, Poola Guy, and the chickens. And I know I am still coming down from the Image Award because I am still on that. I don't know. You guys are probably like, oh, I've moved on. I have other things. They're doing other things, but I am still coming down from it. I don't know. I don't know what your fave pictures were. There weren't a whole lot of pictures, but these are my faves. These are definitely my faves. And oh my goodness, I realized I forgot to put the other one where Mama Anthony Anderson's mom in the very beautiful flower dress was holding on to Harry tight. I forgot to. How could I forgot that picture? But anyway, these are that one and these are my favorites. The top two. I mean, look at Mama Doria's face. It is just like Mama Doria is having the time of her life with Anthony Anderson's mom, Doris. It's like D&D, Doris and Doria, the two queens. I mean, how beautiful is that to watch her? Mama Doris is just cheesing it up out there. And she actually is apparent. I had no idea that Anthony and her, they're like a double team. They're like a comedy acting team. She has her own like social media presence and everything. I realized, who knew? And it's actually called Mama Doris. Well, Mama Doris has an Instagram account and she has her Twitter account and she is just fly. But how beautiful it is to see her and Mama Doria, just having a wonderful time. How I can only imagine like how proud they must be of Megan and Anthony and our our light skinned brother Harry. I'm sure Mama Doria adopted our light skinned brother Harry, so there. Um, but and we know, Diana. Oh my gosh, another D. Diana, Doris, and Doria. I mean, how perfect is this? This is like Diana is probably looking down on her boy. I'm like, oh, how beautiful. To see him accepted into this community, and it just for me such a wonderful thing to see. It's like, oh, it just does my heart good. And then the bottom picture. Actually, his name is Tony McEwen, I think he says it. He is actually the director. He was the director of the NAACP Image Awards. Who knew? Um, I only saw it because he posted this post under someone else's tweet, a very popular account, and he posted and he says, "So guess what I directed last night?" And he posted this picture, and turns out he's a multi-camera director, and he directed the NAACP awards, and I just think it was so fantastic. So a lot of us were tweeting him and just letting him know, and just congratulating him and everything because it's so wonderful to see a black brother thrive. And I just think it was wonderful. It's like, yeah. And it just, it did my heart really well to see that. So, but I don't know. I am still going through the comments. There have been a lot of comments, and my fingers have been like falling off my hands because I've been doing so much editing. And so I haven't been able to get to everybody's comments as quickly as I wanted to. So I am going through them slowly. Please bear with me a little bit. I think I'm getting like, what is that carpal tunnel syndrome thing? When your fingers and your wrists and stuff are bothering you. And I've been going through that a bit. And so I've been trying to lay off on the typing things a little bit just to give my hands a rest. So I see you, I hear you. I'm slowly going through the comments. But I just want to know what your special moments were. You may have already told me, and I just haven't gotten to the comment yet. But if you haven't, I want to know because I'm Snoopy like that. I'm just nosy like that. I just want to know what you're thinking. So, but anyway, yeah, it's just so beautiful. I think it's also too because it's the first time we're really seeing Megan for the year, so I think that was all part of it as well. So, but that is so wonderful. So, yeah, Image Awards. Congratulations, everybody. And then yesterday, was it yesterday? The days are flying by so fast. Like I don't even know. The days are just like going by fast. And yesterday we found out that URL Media and Professor Anita Hill wrote an article for URL Media. And if you don't know or if you don't remember what URL Media is, when Harry and Meghan left as quote unquote working members of the royal family, what they were very specific about the kind of media that they want to work with, and the media that they want to work with were grassroots organizations, especially media from underserved communities, media that really has a presence or want to create a presence in the black and brown community, so that media that will train um, you know, with people of color in in as journalists, etc. And one of those organizations that they have been supporting is URL Media. And so when I heard that Professor Hill wrote the article, I was so excited. I'm like, oh my goodness. And just a little bit of an aside, if you don't know, you may not know who Anita Hill is. She was a very big deal in, I want to say 1991. I think, if I remember correctly. But she was, I think, in her, I don't know, like 20s. I think I want to say 27 to between 27 and 29, and was, uh, she during that time, Clarence Thomas, who is an African American, a conservative African American judge, he was nominated for the Supreme Court, and they were doing hearings. They do hearings, and then they confirm, or dissent, if this person was going to be you know, on the Supreme Court, a Supreme Court judge. And so what the FBI what they do is they interview people who know this person. A lot of it is for character, to get a character profile of who this person is. And so they interviewed people who he worked with, and apparently he worked with, I think it's the Department of Education. And one of the people they interviewed, the FBI interviewed, was Anita Hill. And Anita had worked with him and worked under him, I think. Yeah, she worked for him, and she told the FBI what her experience working with him, and apparently, and he sexually harassed her on a number of occasions, and so she told that to the FBI, and then they basically summoned her to the Hill and had this incredibly courageous woman. It was so courageous what she did, in a public hearing on national television, national hearing, basically told the world what Clarence Thomas did to her, how he sexually harassed her for all this time, and I mean some of it into very graphic detail, what he did to her. And so, um, it went so far. I mean, the Senate Judiciary Committee put her through the ringer. I mean, they even had her do a lie detector test, which she passed. He didn't do a lie detector test. I mean, vehemently denied that he had, sexually harassed her and that it was the liberals are trying to attack him and all of that stuff. But she did a lie detector test and she passed her lie detector test. There were also four other character witnesses for her, to back up her story, which they didn't call them. And those four witnesses would have said that yeah, what she said was true, and they didn't call them. And what the Senate Judiciary committee did was that they worked out some kind of deal, I guess, with the Republicans, and they confirmed Clarence Thomas. And oddly enough, the leader of the Senate Judiciary Committee at that time was our current president, President Joe Biden. And which was very odd and sad because, when he was started running for president, we decided to run for president. One of the people he called was Professor Hill to apologize, I guess, for he said, what she was put through when during that confirmation. And she apparently wasn't very happy with whatever the discussion was. I don't know if he apologized for his role in putting it through because again, he was the leader of the Senate Judiciary Committee that basically cast aside her testimony and confirmed Clarence Thomas anyway. And he has turned out to be exactly a kind of a disaster. On a side note, his wife is a Trump is a Trump supporter who had some kind of role in the last year's January 6th insurrection at the White in Washington. And so no, I don't even want to talk about Clarence Thomas. He's such a ugh, disappointment and disgrace. But anyways, so Professor Hill, she is a lawyer, she is an educator, she is an author, and she's an activist, an amazing woman. And so I was very excited when I saw that she wrote this article for URL. And it, for me, there were so many wonderful things about this article that I just was like, oh my gosh. I was just like, you know, it made me just feel so proud to be a Black woman. And again, this article is in honor of the nomination of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who, President Joe Biden had promised that he would nominate a Black woman to the Supreme Court. And, you know, one of the things that Anita Hill said in there, she was nervous. She wasn't sure if he was going to keep his promise. She was nervous that politicians they would say anything to get elected, and then after they don't keep their promise. So she was nervous about it, and so it was just you know she was just really blown away that he actually kept his promise. And even and then we learned that Megan contributed to this article. And even before we even get to this part, one of the things she said, referencing journalist Nicole Hannah Jones. She says, journalist Nicole Hannah Jones credits Black Americans for making our democracy ideals true. Black women's contributions to that progress have been often been overlooked. Jackson's nomination is a product of our work, and her story symbolizes our success in achieving it. But she is more than a symbol of Black women's contribution to Americans' democracy. And Anita went on to say, in considering the gravity of how this announcement must feel to so many, I thought of moments in modern history where Black women of stature and credentialed enter arenas once thought to be inaccessible. I was recently able to connect with one of these women, Megan, the Duchess of Sussex. And while her role over the past few years hasn't been that of a federal judge or elected official, I couldn't help but see a measure of parallelism given her experience navigating uncharted territory as a Black woman. And Megan said, the civil rights history of tomorrow is being written today, she said to me. Judge Jackson's nomination has opened new ground for women's representation at the highest level of a judicial system that for too long has tilted against the very community she hails from. For the millions of young women who will rightfully find inspiration from this moment, let us remind ourselves that Black achievement is something that exists not only today or yesterday, and not just in a moment of celebration, but as a fabric woven into the entire chronicle of the American story. And I just think that is just so beautiful because so many times, especially the women's part of the fabric, often gets so overlooked, pushed aside, walked on every negative way. And I just, it is just it's such a for me just just the words just mean so much to me because yes, it is woven and that means you cannot take it apart. It doesn't, you can't take it apart from the rest of American history. I mean, gosh, black people pretty much built this country, you know? And so many times we are overlooked and again, we are pushed aside or we're not given credit or someone else take the credit. Usually a white person take the credit for the work that black people do in an effort to erase the success, erase the work, erase the creativity, erase the education, all the things that black people bring to the pot. So often it gets or people want to erase it. But I love how Megan phrases is like, look, it is a fabric woven into the entire chronicle of the American story. So if there is an American story, black people is all up in it. And I just love this for me. I just love this so much. So, I mean, there's so many more things to this article, that I love about it. Anita, Professor Hill talks about just her back. She talked about her, when she heard about it, it's like her back, she just stood up. Her back just became straight, you know? And I love that part of it because it sort of just it gives us a oomph. And at the end of the article she says, the promise of this historic moment is in its potential to make the law fairer and to give more people confidence that our courts are truly representative. For that, the entire country can sit up straighter. And I just like this. If you haven't had a chance to read this article, please read it. I'm going to post a link of it in the show notes. Please take a look at it, and also too, jump online and get to know Professor Hill. She's an amazing, amazing woman and a hero. Really, or heroine, I should say, as we're celebrating, Women's History Month, and we'll get to that next. But it is just wonderful. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Professor Hale. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Megan, for contributing. And we are so proud, and we're gonna just lift up the arms of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson and pray that they nominate her and just that it just sails through and she is on the bench pronto because we need her voice, we need her presence, we need her experience, we need her perspective because it is lacking. I mean, Judge Sotomayor is the only woman of color on the bench and who has, more of a liberal mind. She needs some help. She's been doing amazing, but it's hard when you're the only one. I know that, not know in the sense of being a judge, justice, being among, justices. But I know from experience what it feels like to be in a room as the only black person or the only woman of color. I mean, I'm a black woman, and I know how uncomfortable in my tiny little spaces. I know how uncomfortable that feels. I've been in that spaces numerous times and I want to run away. So I cannot imagine when you have a whole nation of people, black and brown people, looking to you to represent them or to bring their perspective where in a court that can change their life in so many ways. So thank you, you know, uh, President Biden for nominating her, and I just hope that and pray that that sails through. And so yes, 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 we gonna have our first black judge on the Supreme Court. I am. That is just for me. It's fantastic. And then, oh my goodness, I'm telling you, Harry and Meghan have started, they are bringing their things out. We are Saturday now, Meghan and Harry are, supporting and have kicked off Women's History Month with a bang. I mean, oh my goodness, the Sussexes are doing their thing in Montecito. It is wonderful to see. And so we got this. Yes, we got this from Harry and Meghan. It says, this Women's History Month, Archwell Foundation invests in champions of gender equity. And this is like, Meghan is like pretty much in her element right now. This is all Meghan. Well, I shouldn't say that. Harry is very much a feminist, and Harry is, supporting CamFed and all of these things. I mean, Harry is very, very, very much a feminist. And so, but it is just wonderful to see what Archwell is doing and how they have been supporting the Black community, supporting women, supporting underserved community. I mean, you name it, they have been doing it. And so Harry and Meghan, this is what their website says. As we cross into Women's History Month and ahead of International Women's Day next week, Archwell Foundation is announcing a number of nonprofit investments in leading organizations working to advance gender equity, build policy that empower women and families, ensure meaningful media representation for women, and provide women with a network of tools and support for gaining employment. While we celebrate contributions from women throughout history and reflect on the work that remains to achieve a safe, just, and equal world for women and girls, Archwell Foundation is proud to advance the mission of the following groups through new grants. And I just like, you go Archwell. And these are the groups that they are funding. Yes, so these are the groups, the four organizations that Archwell is funding, as you can see, and all of these organizations, as you can see, they were all so excited to be a part, to be the organizations and be a part of the group that the Sussexes are funding. They're all tweeting about it and really rejoicing. And as you can see, the 19th. So, and if you guys remember when Meghan had just come back, I mean, I think when they had just moved to Montecito, Meghan did an interview with Emily Ramshaw. She was actually the first interview they did, and they wanted to interview Meghan, but Meghan decided she wanted to interview Emily, and so it was really awesome. She did a great job interviewing Emily because Emily Ramshaw started the 19th, and if you know what the 19th is, the 19th Amendment, and so and also a part of this group that they're donating to or giving grants to is SmartWorks. And we all know and remember SmartWorks. Meghan has been with SmartWorks forever. And we all know that picture, the Smart Set collection. And I kid you not, of that whole outfit, I have the shirt, which I never wore and I need to wear. And I have the dress, which I wear all the time. And I have the bag. And I tried to get the brown bag and squatties. I'm telling you, if anything Meghan has and you don't try to go buy it right away, you are going to not get it because I tried to get the brown bag and squatties went in there and they gobbled. They couldn't even leave one for me. I had to settle for the black one. And I'm glad I did when I took it because a little bit later, it was gone. So I got the black one. I'm still enjoying my black bag. But it was a wonderful collection. And we know, That's a picture with all the ladies modeling the Smart Set collection. And so, and we know Megan has been with them. She has dressed women at Smart Work. She has coached them for interviews. I mean, again, she designed this whole set for women that, they got free to be able to go back into the workplace, to be able to go out and get interviews and be prepared. They're also donating to the National Women Law Center, and they're also donating to Georgetown Law, and so they're all so happy for um, for this grant, and it's such important issues too, because the 19th is a women focused, or at least women's issues newspaper, and the editor is a woman. I mean, Erin Haynes. You probably see her on cable news all the time. She's the editor of it, woman of color. And I love what the national says. It says, "We are thrilled that we're receiving support from Archwell Foundation, Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Thank Their amplification of issues central to women's progress couldn't have come at a more critical time in the fight for gender justice." And this, pretty much echoes what they all said. And it is amazing. And kudos to Archwell that they're really focusing on gender issues, underserved communities, the poor communities, to make sure that those voices are uplifted. Like and Harry said, in the speech at the NAACP Image Award, he says those underserved voices, the voices that we don't hear from, are the most important. And so they are doing everything that they can to lift up those voices, to give them an opportunity to be able to get their voices heard and thereby get their needs met. So I just think kudos to Harry and Meghan starting off International Women's Day with a bang, you know. I just love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much to Archwell. I mean, I am just so excited about what these two are going to be doing, And then you think, and then we know what Pearl is going to be about, about strong women in history. I mean, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if Pearl came out now? I mean, I don't know how far they are into Pearl, and I know they were hiring like a production designer recently. So I'm like, you're hiring a production designer. That means you have the story already. You probably, I mean, I don't know animation, so I don't know the order of animation. Maybe I shouldn't be talking because I'm a little clueless with animation and the order of it. Maybe I should have researched it, but this is just me imagining what it would be like, if Pearl comes out for Women's History Month. That would be so amazing. And we know, Women's Day is coming up, so I don't know. I hope Megan is going to be doing something. Who knows what she's going to be doing. Of course, she's not going to tell us until she actually does it, or probably the day before. So we're a little bit prepared, but I just, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, women's history, you know. And so, and then, it's so funny. I was thinking, just how much, like, there's there's always this thing of, working royal, and it's like, I think about, what Harry and Meghan do and how effective they are, and then in terms of the royal family. And we know, like, from, what is it, the 24th, that Harry and Meghan were the first, stand with Ukraine, is the first, I mean, in the royal family to basically, one, call out the illegal entry into Ukraine by, Putin and his crazy, murderous people. But they were the first to speak out about it, and from the royal family to speak out about it, and they were first to, in the royal family, to even say, we stand with the people of Ukraine. And then, a few days, and then, of course, the British press was, they went crazy and, do what they always do, mock and ridicule, and like, who do you think you are? This Harry and Meghan said, we're calling all leaders to stand up for them as well. And the thing about it too is, like, they're calling the royal family They who are supposed to be leaders, they're supposed to be heads of state. They're supposed to be leading the charge. So it wasn't until 2 days later that we hear from Kate and William, and then we didn't hear from anybody else. Like the Queen was supposed to be head of state. Buckingham Palace not said a word. Prince Charles had not at that time said a word. And it's like, well, how are these the head of state when basically there is a war in your backyard and you're not saying a word? And then, but then you think about their history with Russia. You think about what, the kind of connections they've had with Russia, and again, 2 days later, William and Kate, obviously, following the lead of Harry and Meghan, and they basically centered themselves with a picture of them and President Zelensky, who they met in 2020. And, it's fine, they want to think, and they're like, yeah, we stand with Ukraine. And of course, they didn't call out Putin with his madness. And then, and he's like, okay, whatever. And I think today, actually, Zelensky said thank you to the royal family, and thank you to Kate and William, and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and that's fine. And or he acknowledged their support. And look, Zelensky have bombs raining down on his head, okay? And so you can't, and I can't, begrudge someone saying thank you to anybody who he can find, especially he's doing it on Twitter because he sees the tweets on Twitter, and so I'm sure this man is like just grateful that people know what's happening in there and are supporting him. So whatever, I have no things about that. But I keep thinking about Prince Charles, and today, finally today, Prince Charles talked about Putin's just basically the atrocity that's going on there. And so Charles finally today, how many days later, Harry and Meghan talked about it on February 24th. This is March 1st, where now Prince Charles, now that it's safe, now that where just about all the world is against Vladimir Putin, Prince Charles finally feels safe to speak out against what is going on in the Ukraine. And it's one of those things where you think, if I were an English person, if I wasn't, a British person, that would give me pause that my leader is so corrupt that he has to wait for the rest of the world to be angry at this person for him to feel safe to come out and say something. I mean, we all know what that Prince Charles has been corrupt. We have also the Duke of Kent who was selling access to Putin, last year, and claim like, no, 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 it was a mistake, or it was a misunderstanding, and I don't really have a relationship with Putin. But he used to call himself the Queen's ambassador to Russia, you know. And also, actually, it's funny because I was online today, and I think it was Tina or whomever is running Sussex Squad podcast Twitter account at the moment, because sometimes they have like moderators do it. But they posted this picture today, and I was like, who knew? I had no idea. There's Prince Charles with Vladimir Putin. And it's just like, oh my goodness, you know, and I don't know if anything happened with him and Vladimir Putin. I have no idea, but it's very interesting. They, obviously were younger at the time, and who knows what could have happened there. But I actually never heard of, I have never heard of any direct controversy per se. I've never heard of any direct controversy with Vladimir Putin, but Charles has been, again, he has been linked to other nefarious characters, nefarious Russian millionaire characters. So it's just rather interesting to see that. It's like, oh my goodness. Well, who knew? Who knows what happened behind those curtains, that, they pulled the curtains for their pictures, but who knows what kind of talks happened beneath there. But, it's kind of interesting now that, the world is mad at Vladimir Putin. Prince Charles feels safe to come out and say, oh yeah, yeah, what you're doing is bad. You know, stop it. So, but anyways, that's just, I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting. And finally, there's this thing that's been going on with the squad where there's this troll reporter from the Daily Mail, Richard Eden. And I don't normally, and I'm not even going to post a picture of it because I just don't want, I just feel polluted. Whenever I think about that guy, I just feel polluted. And so I don't want it anywhere near this. But I am saying this to, just to give you a heads up. But if you come across him on Twitter, just basically this guy is what he's doing. He is posting he's doing all these posts to trigger, especially squatties, where he would post blatant lies about the Sussexes, always hashtagging Megan's name. He would twist articles just to add Megan's name to things and hashtag her name, and there's always something negative. Basically, what he's doing is trying to trigger squatties to come under his post to give him engagement. He's looking for squatties to come be fighting each other and fighting trolls or fighting his other trolls to come under his post and give him engagement. And he has been doing this for quite a while now. He does the same thing. Omid blocked him. And so, in every opportunity he can find to attack Omid, to attack especially Megan, he will do it. And so, I'm only bringing it up just to give you a heads up to do not go. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm not, I can't say don't do something, but consider not going under his post and giving him engagement because he's basically wants to use our but he wants to use our outrage, to to get clout, to build his profile, to get engagement. That is what he's doing. He is deliberately doing it. He's deliberately being racist. He's deliberately being abusive. He's deliberately harassing. He's deliberately doing it. So I just want to give you a heads up to encourage you. If you come across it on Twitter or whatever, people are, I see articles of people calling out his lies, but just consider not engaging with him. Don't give him your clicks. Don't reward people like that with your clicks, with your engagement, whatever. And so I just wanted to say that out there. I'm not even putting his picture. I don't want to pollute our space with his picture. It is gross what he is doing. Again, all I had to say was he works for the Daily Mail, and you know what I mean. So that's all I'm saying about that. So, yeah. So, I mean, thank you guys so much for listening. That's it. Please, at the bottom of this video, you will see the subscribe button. Please go ahead and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. You'll see the join button right next to it. Please join and be a part of our, 2 cents crew, just to give you, so you know what the money is going for, especially with when you join, is there are a lot of things we want to do with the channel and hire people, especially like I said, my fingers are falling off when it comes to editing and stuff like that. It'll be great to be able to afford an editor for every episode. It's just very expensive to do it. It goes also to even this platform that we're using to do live. It costs to do it costs to do that, so monthly. So that, it helps us to be able to keep this platform where we're going to be able to do lives and, bring on guests, and it's not just be this cumbersome thing, because to do lives free through YouTube, it's a primitive, poor YouTube, I don't want to call it primitive, but it doesn't have the capability where you can be able to bring on guests and then show pictures and, show screenshots and all of those things. It just doesn't have that capability. So in order for us to do that, we have to use this. We're using this platform called StreamYard, and it costs. And so your help is helping us to fund that, and again, I am learning this platform. So this is the second time I'm using it. I used it on Sunday with Pam, and so this is the second time I'm using it. And so it's fun. It's just, getting used to the idea of it. So it funds that as well. Um, we'd like to hire someone to do our social media, because to create content, and if you've ever created content, it's a lot to do. And then so it's even more when you then have to promote it on social media. It is a lot. It is like you basically takes over your life. So we'd like to be able to hire someone to help us with that as well. So yeah, that's some of the things. And that's some of the things that we're funding. So any support you can offer is most appreciated. And please join. And plus you get really cool perks, and you can do little behind the scenes things. Um, that that we're doing that we'd love to offer, and we love to give stuff. So it's, I think it's really cool. You'll have your little badges, and then we do your shout outs, your Montecito shout out, and then I also post pictures that just for the members, behind the scenes shots just for the members, that I'd love to share with you guys. And so again, no obligation, but we would love to have you on our Two Cents crew. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a fantastic day. Sending you huge love. I will get to your comments ASAP, and I will talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.